Okay, pack it up, Dracula. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Allison. If you're new here, welcome to Wonderland. Today I am starting a reading vlog, and what that reading vlog is reading the entire Vampire Academy series in less than 4 days. Now I've already read the series because this intro is being filmed after the fact, but I'm going to be reading all of the Vampire Academy books in less than 4 days. I binged through them, and you'll just have to stick around to see what I thought. Let me know down below what first time book series you want me to read. I currently have Percy Jackson on the list, Lord of the Rings, and a couple others, but let me know if there's any down below and ask me if I haven't read them, and I can definitely do a series reading those for the first time. But this is a super long video, so I'm just gonna get right into it. So as I stated in the intro, I have never read the Vampire Academy books, and I wanted to see how many books I could read in a week, see if I can just marathon these out, because they're not that long. They're 300 pages, and so I want to see how long I can, or how long it takes me to read these. I read the first one, I believe, or part of the first one, in I think either my freshman or sophomore year of high school, and I just didn't like it. Probably because it didn't mention the name Edward Cullen or Stefan/Damon Salvatore in it. I was really picky about my vampire books back then, but now I want to try to read it. I've heard so many people talk about it, but I've heard everyone say Rose and Dimitri are one of their favorite fictional characters, and I want to be a part of that. I want to know. So I have every single Vampire Academy book right here, but I am excited, and I feel like with Halloween around the corner, I am just in a vampire spooky mood. So
feels like time is going faster than it seems. We were just two kids who were trying to live the teenage dream. We could see no reason why we should ever try to go to sleep. Remember every weekend we stayed out late and then went home to me. I wish that I could live that dream again. 'Cause it was only you and me back then. We were never
So I'm only on chapter 2, and I already think I know why I didn't like this book originally, and it's not that I don't like it now. I personally don't like how this book starts off. The pacing seems very rushed in this beginning part, where it just throws us into this world and starts throwing the Stragolies, all the names that they have for the vampires. I'm sure I'll know them by the end, and it throws us into Lissa's powers of compulsion, and the runaway where Dimitri finds them. By the way, this might have spoilers if you haven't read this series. I feel like with this first chapter, there should have been something else before it, or maybe there was something before it, because I feel like I'm starting a book that I should know more about. This feels like a second book where I'm just thrown back into a world, rather than a first book where I'm introduced to the characters. I think I understand more of the plot now because I've seen the movie, and I know people don't like the movie. I personally love the movie, maybe because I haven't read the book, but I personally love the movie. I think it's really funny, and because I've watched the movie, I know a little bit more about the world, the Strigoi. I'm gonna say it wrong, I'm sorry. And I know about Dimitri, I know about Rose, and I know that dynamic because I like the movie. So I know I'm gonna like this, but I just don't like the pacing, and I just want, I'm the type of person that wants to know what's going on and why things are happening, and I don't feel like I know that. Okay, so I have some thoughts about Vampire Academy. So, I'm really enjoying it. I like Rose as the main character, I like Lissa, I like Christian, I like Dimitri to a point. I was really liking Dimitri until this one scene in chapter 9. And this doesn't deter me from reading the rest of the book, because I know this was written in 2007, but this one scene Rose is making out with Jesse, a Moroi, like, I guess he's like a popular guy. He's like a royalty in the Moroi hierarchy, and Dimitri catches them in this compromising position and he gets pissed. You can tell he's jealous, and yeah. But my issue isn't that he caught them and he got mad at Rose. My issue is that he called her cheap and was like, you need to set standards for yourself. Moroi men like to brag, and you know what that could do. You're supposed to be Lissa's guardian. Your reputation already makes you look bad, and I just like didn't like that. It made me feel icky, so I really didn't like that. But other than that, I'm really enjoying the story. I think that the hierarchy and the royalty system is really interesting. I think that the Moroi and the Strigoi are an interesting concept. I want to see the Strigoi in action. I think it's an important ideal that I see with a lot of books from this time period, this urban fantasy time period especially, that we can't, I will not hold this at the standards of a book that was written today. Like, I just won't, because the world was different back then, and I think that's one thing that us as a bookish community do. We hold books that were written many years ago at the same standards that we hold like a brand new release. And I think that we could acknowledge problematic behavior like the one that Dimitri is displayed in this, but I'm not going to hold that against the entire series. I'm not going to say the entire series is problematic, because it's not. And I think that the world has changed since this book was released, but this book was released in 2007. So I think I wanted to make that clear, that just because I don't like a certain action of a character nowadays does not mean that the entire series or book is problematic. Alright, so I am on chapter 18, page 247, and I'm really enjoying the book. I'm really enjoying learning the politics of this vampire world with the Strigoi and the Morai. I feel like I say that wrong every time. And the Damper? Whatever Rose and them are, I will get it by the end of this vlog, I swear. But the Guardians, they call them the Guardians most of the time, and then they throw in that other saying that they call them. But I'm really enjoying learning the politics of it, and with the Queen and the Royals, it's really interesting. And I really am enjoying Lissa's story right now, how she is following down the same path of Saint Vladimir and Mrs. Carp. They're paralleling her to that, and using these powers that she has is descending her into madness, which she obviously got these powers, and this, you know, Rose got the bond through the accident because she was shadow kissed. And I can already see that being shadow kissed, I think, means that somehow during the accident Rose died. I don't know this, but this is I don't know if this was in the movie. Maybe I'm getting this from the movie, but Rose died, and then Lissa brought her back with her healing powers, and because of the shadow kiss, that's where they get the bond. So I'll be interested to see if that's actually true. I think it is. I think that was in the movie, but I don't remember it. This makes me really want to watch the movie. I feel like Rose had to grow up really fast in the academy, and I feel like she's 17. She's gonna be 18, and I think Dimitri is 24. So yeah, that's like a big age gap. And at times you see Rose's immaturity, but I don't know. I guess it's not, there's nothing that's happened yet. It's just kind of like this tension between them that I'm okay with. Like, I like them. I'm not like shipping them yet, but nothing's happened. The worst that's happened is he's tackled her to the ground on a mat when she tried to like quick jab him in training. But I finished. So I I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5 stars just because I feel like there could have been improvements in the story, but I still really did love the story, and I'm excited to see where this story goes with the Strigoi and everything like that. I have the second book, so I'm going to start that. I love Dimitri so much. Like, I get it. I get it 100%. Like, I understand now why people love him so much, because he's so brooding and he's so like serious all the time. But when he does show that emotion towards Rose, or towards anyone actually, it's just so refreshing and it makes me feel all the feels, and I love him so much. And that scene in the training room where she's yelling at him after after her mom punched her in the face, and she's like, I don't want to be controlled, like, you don't care about me, like, just screaming at him, and he's like, you think I don't care? And then they make out, and I was like, ready for them to admit like some more feelings to each other, and I bet they do in this book. But I also kind of want to get out of the academy setting, because I'm kind of over the academy setting. I just want them to go to this ski resort, and then I know shit's about to go down. It's just gonna all blow up in their face. They're gonna think it's safe there, and it's not, and this whole Strigoi war that's gonna happen is about to happen, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready for Rose to be this kick-ass guardian and have Dimitri by her side, even though I'm pretty sure that he's not always by her side, which like makes sense in this span of a book, but I'm ready. I'm currently on chapter 16, which is on page 216, and I love this book. They're at the ski resort now, and she's with Mason, and Mason is like jealous, but he like knows something's going on with someone else. Like, he can tell, but like Rose is like trying to move on from Dimitri, and it's just not working, and poor Mason is just such a sweet kid, and all I can think of him as is Cameron, who plays Ian on Shameless, because that's who he plays in the movie, and I'm just like, a baby. I'm like, I love him so much. But Lissa's off with Christian, and that's annoying Rose, and there's just like a whole bunch of teenage drama going on. But on top of that, the Strigoi are like attacking big groups of Moroi and killing guardians, so that's like a huge deal, and I'm really enjoying it. I really like the dynamic we got going on right now. My thing is I really like Rose, because at times Rose can be really mature and really, I don't want to say above people, but like above her classmates, where she like understands, she's very serious about her job, and then she slips up and it shows her age. She's 17, almost 18, and it really shows that she's not prepared to go out into this world, and I think a lot of the kids aren't, and I think we're going to see that as it goes forward. Rose is going to lose a lot of guardian friends she went to school with, because these kids just don't understand the gravity of what a Strigoi is, and Rose has gone up against them. So when she's talking to them about, like, when they're talking about going after Strigoi or stuff, she's hesitant, and she's trying to be like the person that tells them no, but at the same time she's so angry at what's happening as well that she's clouded in this kind of conflicting way. But she knows, like, even her, when she had to go up against Natalie, who was a fresh Strigoi, she got her butt handed to her. I will check back with you when I have more thoughts, or when I'm finished with this book. I finished. I'm so excited to get to Shadow Kiss. Oh my gosh, that ending with Dimitri and Rose, I was like, my heart. And I'm so happy that I can just like marathon this series, because that's like my favorite thing to do. I love marathoning series. So I'm going to start the next book and continue this vlog. And yeah, I'm already so frustrated with Rose and the academy. She's with Christian, and she has her first test, and she freezes because she sees Mason, the ghost of Mason, or this figment. I think it's a ghost because she's closer to the shadows, because she's shadow kissed, but that's just me. And they bring her into this council meeting because she's like in trouble for freezing, and I hate that, because you would think the people who were there and saw her when she killed those Strigoi would understand that she might be a little bit traumatized by seeing one of her best friends slash boyfriends, to everyone's knowledge, killed, and having to save people and kill two Strigoi right away. Like, and not even be graduated. Like, you think that they would put that and be like, wow, she may be just like a smidgen traumatized, but she doesn't want to give up her pride and say this, and they're so hard on her. And I understand they're supposed to be hard on her because they want her to be a good guardian and they know she has the capabilities, but it made me so mad for Rose, because it's like, she doesn't feel like she could say, like, I'm seeing a ghost, or I'm having PTSD over my boyfriend being killed in front of me and having to kill the two evil vampires that tortured us practically. Like, and then Dimitri brings her into this room and is like, what's going on? Like, I know you. This isn't like you. Like, what's going on? And she won't tell Dimitri. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, get over yourself for 5 seconds, Rose, and tell him what's wrong. Like, tell him what's going on. Maybe he has some insight and can help you, because he knows it has to do with what happened 3 weeks ago. Like, this happened 3 weeks ago. You would think if this happened like months ago, I would understand them being like, maybe she's gotten over it. But 3 weeks is like not that long of time. I'm really frustrated. I'm on page 75, chapter 6, and I just like want to bash the Academy's head in, and I want to like smack Rose, because she can't reach out and ask for help because she is so scared that makes her look weak. And I just, this is not going down a good road. I went to brunch and all I could think about was this book, because it was at the good part. Like, Dimitri and Rose just got together after she lost her mind when Lissa put the darkness into her, and then he was like, I won't let you go crazy, and then they got it on, and then all of a sudden the Strigoi are on campus, and I'm like, this is not good. We left Dimitri, Rose went ahead. Like, I know that this is no good. I'm on 358 on chapter 24, and I will probably finish this. I already know Dimitri gets turned Strigoi, so like I have a feeling that this is when it happens, and then everything's gonna go downhill because we're not staying at the academy after that. Like, I know that shit's about to go down, so.
Said we'd be young forever. You taught me how to love, and nothing could be better than you and me, baby, it was you and me. We could never fall, and nobody could break us, yeah, I thought we had it all. Take me back to when it was you and me, baby, it was you and me. Uh-oh, 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 baby, it was.
I finished. I'm so upset. I'm so upset for Rose and Dimitri. Now I have to go on a blood promise, and I know that last line lives rent-free in my mind now. I'm off to kill the man I love, and I was just like, y'all better fix this. I need a happy ending. I gotta go read the next one. I'll take you along again. So I'm like 160 pages into Blood Promise, and oh my gosh, I love it so much. This might be my favorite book, even though Dimitri's not in it a lot, because I really love Sydney. And I think she's funny, and there's a lot to learn about her. And I'm glad that I'm pretty sure she's the one of the main characters in Bloodlines. So like, I'm interested in her. I love the lightheartedness, even though it is serious. They just had a funeral, but there's like a lightheartedness in these first couple chapters that I'm really liking, and the family's fun. And I like that she's getting to know Dimitri's family, and they all know, like, she was in love with Dimitri and Dimitri was in love with her, so I think that's sweet. So Dimitri's here, captured Rose, cool, whatever, getting a little weird with his kidnapping, but Rochelle Mead has made us think that these Strigoi are like these brainless, like evil Strigoi, like all they care about is blood and power. Like they don't care about anything else. And then we get to Dimitri and he has these feelings and he wants to awaken Rose and like he's all about being a Strigoi, and I'm just like, so they're just real vampires. Like that's what I feel like. The Strigoi are just the vampires that we know, like that go around and kill humans and people because that's how they survive. Like, I guess I just don't see any, like, evil plans going on, like, mwahaha, twirling mustache moments right now. Like, I get that they're supposed to be our big bad guys, but at the moment, Dimitri seems pretty normal, just with a slight edge of evil, and, like, honestly, not mad at it. So, like, I'm confused. I did it. So I finished Blood Promise, and this is probably my least favorite of the books that I've read. I know I said it was my favorite at the beginning, but it's just like, I'm 4 books in and I don't understand where the story's going. Like, what are we fighting for? Like, are we fighting to destroy the Strigoi? Now we're fighting to make Dimitri not a Strigoi because she didn't stake him, even though I knew that wasn't going to happen because he's on the cover of the next book. And that she's just not going to kill off a love interest. Like, that's when there's 2 more books. I'm glad we had this because we did meet Sydney, and I really like Sydney's character, and I know she is the main character in Bloodlines, which I already have. I just don't see the point of this book other than we got to see a little bit of the Strigoi, and my question is am I supposed to be scared of them? Like, who is the big bad in this situation? Is it the Strigoi? Is it the Queen? Is it Victor Dashkov? Like, who is the big bad in this whole scenario? I thought by the time we got to the 4th book, we were gonna have the entire world of Vampire Academy in chaos, and I thought that last battle was going to send the entire world into, like, war, pretty much. I didn't think we were going to still be at the academy. I thought we were going to be fighting the Strigoi and going after them and going after Dimitri. But we're not. We're still at the academy. I'm 50% into Spiritbound, and I'm still not impressed. Like, I don't feel any urgency for anything. Like, there's no stake. Like, what am I... Our goal is to change Dimitri back to Strigoi. Well, what about after that? Is there, like, a war that's gonna happen? Is there, like, something in the court system that's gonna happen? Like, I feel like the Dimitri thing should be, like, a detour to the main, like, big plot, and I don't see it, so... Also, I'm 50% in and we haven't saved Dimitri. Like, are we gonna go a whole nother book with Dimitri as Strigoi? Is he, like, the big bad? Because he doesn't really seem like the big bad. Because all he does is, like, slam Rose up against the wall and is, like, sensual and, like, why would you do this to me? You know, you could have had it all with me, and I'm just over here like, bro, you're just freaking Dracula in a trench coat, so... That's it. I've decided I'm angry with every single character in this novel. Dimitri, Rose, Abe, Lissa, everyone. I'm frustrated, and now we're going on this wild goose chase to find Lissa's illegitimate sister or brother, and I'm just like, bro. And the Queen's dead, and it's Rose who is being accused of it, and I still, maybe the point of this series was not to have, like, a big bad at the end that we're trying to defeat, but, like, for me, I don't see, are we trying to take down the government? Like, who are we trying to, like, what are we trying to do at this point? Because it just seems like we're running around with our heads between our legs, like, not knowing what we're doing. There's little tasks we have to do, but there wasn't, like, a big overall task. And I think that's the most frustrating thing, because I don't have anything to, like, put at stake. And it's not saying I don't like the series. The series is good, but I just don't feel like we have anything. Like, I don't know what we're fighting for, and that's my biggest issue. But I only have Last Sacrifice now, and then I'll be done with the series, and I will have read an entire series in 4 days. So I got my hair done today, and that left a lot of time for me to read my book, and I read so much of this book. I'm on page 500 right now. Well, 502 on chapter 31, which means I'm almost done with Last Sacrifice, and I'm really enjoying it. I guess I expected differently from this novel or from the series. Like, I always thought that they were working towards like an end goal, and they're not. Each book is kind of a different like goal to get to, so that's cool. I mean, that's not like my jam, but I really do like the characters. I like Rose and Dimitri, which, by the way, I was reading this, and the second that they started to like get back together, my hairstylist was like, we need to like shampoo your hair, and I was like, I'm gonna lose my mind because something good's happening in this book. But yeah, also Jill is she's the illegitimate daughter of Eric, who's Lissa's dad. So that wasn't actually too surprising. As soon as they introduced Jill in one of the early books, I knew she was going to play a role in the story. Like, why would we just have this random 15-year-old, I think she is? Maybe she's 14. Why would we have her if she didn't have a purpose to her? Like, yeah, she's like a cute puppy dog, like, character, but at the same time she needs a purpose. I finished, and honestly I really enjoyed the wrap-up of this book. I thought that the reveal of who killed the queen was super interesting, and the aftermath and the chaos that happened right there was really good. But my favorite part of this was when Adrian came to talk to Rose, and I think that really sets Adrian up in Bloodlines to be a super intricate character, because he is so like broken, and he's heartbroken. And then you have Sydney, who is, I feel like she's sure of herself, but at the same time she's not, because she's ruled under this alchemist law, and that's a huge issue. I feel like we're going to see our favorite characters in the Bloodline series, but they're not going to be the main plot point. I have to say, Adrian is my favorite character in the series. I just really love him, and that speech at the end where he was talking to Rose, he said that, you know, she might have gotten like everything she wanted, Dimitri and Lissa as queen, but she kind of left a path of destruction for everyone else, including himself. And it's like, he asked her so many times about Dimitri, and if Dimitri was going to be a problem. He sent her off with him because he thought she was going to be safe, and he was in love with Rose, and then she cheats on him. And like, I know people are going to be like, but that was the love of her life. Like, but it still like destroyed Adrian, and I am interested in how Bloodlines is going to be. I have the first two in Bloodlines, and I actually didn't plan on going from the series straight into Bloodlines, but after that speech I was like, ooh yeah, I need to go into that series. So my final thoughts on Vampire Academy. I really like this series. I don't think it's one of my favorite series of all time, but I do enjoy it. I just started Bloodlines, and I'm actually enjoying that series way more than what I liked here. Maybe I just connect with Sydney more than Rose, and that's why, and I really like Adrian, but I really enjoyed this series. There were points in it that I didn't know where the plot was going, and that was super annoying to me, but other than that, I would rate this series on like a star level, a 4.5 out of 5. the entire series was consistent. It was good. The characters are interesting. I really liked the world that we were introduced to and how that is going to be expanded in the spin-off series. So I can understand why people really love this book. Dimitri, he is not my fictional crush. He's probably not my new book husband, but I did meet Adrian, and I have to say, really love me Adrian. So I do love Dimitri, I love Rose, I love Lissa, but I can't wait to get into the next series and expand on the world even more. Let me know down below your favorite character in the Vampire Academy series, and I will see you next time in Wonderland Loves. Bye!